It has been absolute chaos this morning. I've brought far too much kit, but it is what it is. For those that don't know me, my name's there. But I've been here before. I think last time I came here was about 5 years ago, talking about boudoir as a male photographer, which was interesting. But today, I'm here to talk to you about some basic lighting, because despite what everybody thinks, I'm always controversial, or shall I say, I speak my mind, right? The photography industry standards are getting lower and lower and lower, in general. And do you know why? Because of this thing called potato shop, or Photoshop. Because everybody just thinks that you can take a crappy photo, sorry, can't say crappy, I'm going to say it, crappy photo, and you can fix it in Photoshop, right? But I'm one of these rare things as a working professional, though I'm not actually a working professional photographer anymore. I actually have a real job. I actually do like work and everything. But I still do professional photography, just not full time. And I have this rare thing for a professional photographer. How many professionals have we got in here? Don't be shy, put your hands up. Yeah? Okay. Well, there's this rare thing called a life. Right? And there's so many photographers don't have this rare thing called a life, because they spend all the time on Photoshop polishing things that should have been polished in camera, shall we say. So what I'm going to try and show you today is I'm going to talk to you some basic stuff about lighting, and I'm going to show you 4 simple setups, and I'm going to make it idiot proof. Right? No, really, I am, I promise. Because I brought flash, and I've even brought continuous light. So if you can do it with flash, all well and good. If you're one of these cowards that's scared of flash and thinks it's going to be the hardest thing in the world to master, then I've got some continuous light to show you as well. Don't touch me. Ask Colin how his journey was yesterday. Didn't go well. So, let's talk about light. Right, I hate showing my own work. Right, I absolutely detest it, but these guys always like to see pictures. So I have put a slideshow together. And you will hate my taste in music, but I like it. I keep breathing into my microphone, it's not good, is it? Never said I was a presenter. And this doesn't want to work. There we go. Still doesn't want to work. Okay, it's working. Urge my soul and let us journey on. Though the night is dark, it won't be very long. Urge my soul and let us journey on. Though the night is dark, it broke my music. That's terrible. Can't believe I broke my music. Are you bored yet? I'm bored. I've seen all these before. Oh, didn't tell that one. Me and technology don't go well together. It's quite interesting looking at this because I actually put some images in here that are 10 years old. Just to make it a little bit different. Right. So that's me. That's what I do. Everybody always assumes I'm a studio photographer, but I basically like to call myself a photographic whore, in which case if you pay me I will shoot it. Simple as that. But yeah, that's me. That's what I do. Right, let's talk about light. It's my favourite subject. No, don't play again. Okay, so what is light? Silence. Dead simple. It is a physical property. It is physics. It is the same. And that is the good thing about lighting, when you want to learn about light, is the fact that it will behave the same way every single time that you do it. Yeah? And I'm going to break it down into 4 bits. Now I normally teach this 4 bits in an hour. I'm going to give you 5-minute snapshots. Okay? So it has a colour, you have a quantity, you have a direction, and you have a quality to the light. Okay? First one is colour, right? In all my time that I've been doing light, nobody asked me to make them look like a Smurf. Nobody's asked me to make them look like Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy. So what they asked me to do is render their skin tones accurately, right? There is nothing worse as a photographer than shooting a series of images and then trying to find the right skin tone. Or even worse, where people just guess skin tones and colours and they don't do any colour calibration whatsoever. It is so easy to get it right. All you need is one of these. All you need is one of these. Is take a grey card picture. What this is guaranteed to be neutral in colour. Okay? No colour on it at all. That means it's got exactly the same amount of red, green and blue pigment in there to give me a neutral colour. Its aim is to pick up any colour casts. So if your light has different colours, then what it will do is it will pick those colours up and then your software will correct that for you. I'm not going to go into how, but click an eyedropper tool in your raw conversion and that'll fix it. These are silly expensive for a little bit of plastic and a little bit of card, but I will say it's probably my second most valuable tool, because there is nothing worse than when you're processing by hand and by eye and just looking at your colours, and then when somebody goes, I would love a nice multi-aperture frame from Digital Lab, and every skin tone is different in every picture. And you then sit, like most newborn photographers, at 2 AM in the morning, moaning on Facebook, how do I get my skin tones right? And all they needed to do was get one of these in the first place and take a picture of it. Okay? In this room alone, there are currently 1, 2, 3, 6 light sources that will all be different colour. But because our eyes are really clever, we just see it as neutral light. But it's not neutral. So buy one of these. Now please buy the data colour one. If anybody wants to come and talk to me afterwards, I'll get you a discount code, because they sponsor me, and it's really nice to give them some money back in return. So get your colours right is the first thing. Things like this LED light here, and it is sexy, isn't it? That is a sexy light. It is. And it's brand new. But on this, I can change the colour temperature. Yeah? So that should tell me accurately what it is. I'd still take a grey card. Yeah? So just get your colours right. Next bit, I'm going to get through this in 10 minutes because I want to shoot. Quantity. Does anybody use their histogram to tell if they've got their exposure right? Go and sit in the corner. Does anybody use the screen on the back of the camera to tell if they've got their exposure right? Go and sit in the corner. Right, I'm picking on you because I can. Firstly, is everybody shooting raw for things that are important? Yeah? Right, well there isn't a camera, there isn't a DSLR or mirrorless camera on the market that can read its own raw files. So what you see on the back of the camera is not your raw file. It's had some processing added by what they call an embedded JPEG. So you can see what you see on the back of the camera. So it's never going to be accurate because it has had either colour, sharpness, contrast, all of those things added to change it. Secondly, histograms. Your histogram only works off the JPEG, not off the raw file. So again, it's been changed. Who uses the in-camera meter and shoots in that magical thing called manual? Right? Yeah, never going to be accurate. Purely because it's looking for an average. And it's looking for an average on reflected light. So the way your camera meter works, the light hits the subject, bounces back towards the camera, and that's how it takes a reading. It's called reflected light. Who uses one of these? As you can see, mine is quite well used. It's held together by duct tape, and also I like the fact that it's yellow because I lose it all the time. This is going to be far more accurate, right? When we talk reflected light, if I'm photographing a white object, it's going to reflect more light. Yeah? And then photograph a black object, it's going to absorb light and it's going to reflect less. So my in-camera meter is going to get those wrong. Now you have exposure compensation to make up for that, but still it's not going to be inaccurate. What this does is measure purely the amount of light that falls upon it to give you an accurate read. It's as easy as that. So buy one of these from somewhere. Nobody sponsors me for this, so you can buy it from anywhere. But Camera Centre are here, and they will have light meters. This one's dead fancy, because it's got duct tape on it, but also because it controls my lights. So it's clever like that. But just measure it. If you cook it, who cooks? I cook. Who bakes? I bake. Right? You measure things, don't you? Yeah? Who makes cocktails? Nobody measures cocktails, do they? Just a bit of this. All right. But if you're baking and you don't get your measurements right, the recipe won't work. It's the same with light. When I want to use 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, I want to measure them off against each other to know exactly that my ratios are correct. So just measure it. Just do it. And make Seconic happy. Cool. Next one, direction. This is the one that I see the most mistakes with, or the least refinement with, in lighting. Number 1 rule, if you're shooting portraits, unless you're shooting horror portraits, the number 1 rule is light always comes down. Okay? Light always comes down. Right? We spend our lives with, on these rare days in Scotland where the sun's out, you know, yesterday on the way up it wasn't sunny, today it's beautiful, with the sun in the sky. Most rooms are still ceiling lit. So we walk round seeing shadows coming down. When shadows come down, we're used to that shadow being like that way. When our lights are too low, shadows will go across or they'll even go up. They will look wrong. So get those lights high. Golden rule for me, if your light source or modifier is less than 1 meter in diameter, then have it between eye level and top of the head, the bottom of it. Okay? If it's more than 1 meter in diameter, then level with the shoulder. That will always put your light source, your flash or your continuous light, higher than the head, so the light's coming down. All your lighting patterns rely on the light coming down. Second thing is, unless I'm outside and I need maximum power out of my little battery lights, I never point my light directly at my subject. Because even these with 2 layers, 3 layers of diffusion have a hot spot in the middle. And if I point that middle at the subject, I'm going to get hot spots. So we always use the edge, and that's called feathering. Okay? And the third rule is that all lighting patterns on portraits work on the position of the light relative to the direction that the nose is going in. Not the eyes, not your camera position, it is the light to the nose. So if we want to maintain a pattern and change the head angle, we move the light with it. Does that make sense? It's easy, this stuff. You know, I've only been doing it 13 years, 14 years, it's easy. You know, any questions? Silence. It's full room though, I feel really important. I actually, I'll do a Damien at the end. Shall I do a Damien at the end and get you all to wave as we do a selfie? And then I can just send it to him and go, look, wish you weren't here. Oh, it's not. Right. Next one, most important bit, other than direction, is the quality of the light. Quality of the light. And we'll break it down into 2 bits. Contrast and hardness. And the reason I break it down into those 2 bits is people get them mixed up. Yeah? Contrast is purely the difference between how high the highlights are compared to how dark the shadows are. And there is accepted traditional levels of contrast in portraits. Funnily enough, I break them all the time. But I break them with a reason. We want to control the difference between the highlights and the shadows, so that's what we want our lighting to do. Now, my camera has 13.4 stops of dynamic range. The new one has 14.3. That means it can capture light from pure white to pure black, 14 stops in between, roughly. However, there is not a printer on the market that can print more than 8 stops. So while your pictures, now bearing in mind, I've been a full-time professional, I don't want my pictures digital, I want them printed and sold. 14 stops of dynamic range will look brilliant on a 5K monitor like this, 4K monitor like this, yeah? However, when you come to print that file, it will not print like it looks on your screen. So I always make my files about 7 to 8 stops difference between highlight and contrast. And that means that what I see on the screen will be exactly what I print. On my calibrated screen, with my calibrated colour charts, and my correctly exposed image. Yeah? All of this stuff, all it means is that my workout camera doesn't need as long in Photoshop. Anybody watch, oh you lot what, well a stupid question up here. Anybody watch the coronation this weekend? No, didn't think so. Asking the wrong bloody audience, aren't I really? Okay, well I was watching it, and while I was watching it, I was like, who's going to take the King's portrait this year? And it's actually the guy who did William and Kate's wedding that's going to be the formal portrait. But then while I was doing that, I looked at the Queen's formal portrait when she was, coronated. Is that the right word? That sounds a bit wrong, that, doesn't it? The Queen was coronated. Anyway, when she had a picture taken by Cecil Beaton, however, what was it, 70 years ago, 50 years ago, a long time ago, before I was born, which is a long time ago. And that portrait is immaculate. And that is without Photoshop. That is just good, damn good photography. And that's what I want you guys to get back to, is actually not spending all that time, having that thing called a life, yeah, and not living in Photoshop. Contrast, get your contrast right, so make sure it will print. So don't go too harsh on your contrast, because it looks great on your screen, but then when you enter a competition, and the judges go, ooh, blocked up lights, blown out highlights, and then you moan at us, because obviously you're right and we're all stupid, you know, because that's what happened with judges. You know, I was there for the first 5 years, I was like, bloody judges, what do they know? What do they know? Now I'm sat on the other side going, bloody photographers, what do they know? Yeah? Oh, they're going to moan again, it's results day. Oh, I didn't get a gold, well, you didn't work hard enough. Sorry, I didn't tell it how it is. So, get your contrast right, because then it'll print. And as well, digital competitions are great, but nothing beats a print competition. Nothing beats senior imaging. So, get your contrast right. Second thing, hardness and softness. Dead easy way of explaining it. Go outside today, if I gave you all a piece of chalk, you could draw around each other's shadows. Because you could see exactly where that shadow starts and where that shadow stops. Agree? Yeah? Because we have a small light source. Well, it's bloody big, but it's 93 million miles away, so it becomes small. Small light source, big subject. Hard edge shadow. And it's the edge that I'm talking about. Just purely that transition between where the shadow starts and where it stops. That is hard light. Soft light, if we went out on a normal Scottish day, what do you say up here? It's dreek. Yeah? Did I say it right? Ish. Yeah, God save the king. On a normal day, where you've got those big clouds in the sky, you still have a point light source. But that point light source hits the big cloud, and it splits into millions of light sources and makes a huge light source. And then the light source becomes big relative to the subject. So even on the darkest, dreariest, overcast day, you still have a shadow. Right? Anytime that a light source hits an item, it creates a shadow. So you will still have a shadow, but you won't be able to see where it starts and stops. So it looks like you have no shadow. And that is soft light. So we have that softbox there is my cloud. It's my soft light. Make sense? Right, why do we want hard and soft light? I'll tell you why. Everything that we photograph, when it's a person, is three-dimensional. But we're going to render it as a 2D thing. It's either going to be on screen, or it's going to be on print. I'm pointing to that because it's printed over there, not just randomly pointing up in the fresh air. Because of that, if we do not have highlights and shadows, we do not see shape and form. If we can go back to school, for some not that long ago, for me a long time ago, for Barry probably even longer than that, one of the things that made me do at school in art was shade an egg on a piece of paper to try and show that shape and form by shading the shadows in. Well, that's what we do with light. But if that light has that clear line of shadow and highlight stop, then anything that's on that line will ping out. Wasn't me. It's telling me that everything's going wrong. But if that shadow transition is very gentle, then things don't stand out as much. So I tend to use 90% of my subjects are female, and nobody comes to me and says, make me look ugly. So I'm going to do the best to give them the most complementary light that I can by giving them nice soft light on those skin tones. Yeah? So, I measure my light, I get my colour correct, I get my direction right, and I choose the right light source for my subject, and that's how we get a portrait. So it's easy, isn't it? Dead easy. Now, 4 light setups. The one lighting setup that I hate is the loop light, which is the bog standard setup that they teach everybody in college first. Right? I ain't doing that, because it's neither here nor there for me. But what I'm going to start with is the 45-degree light. And I even went to the trouble of doing diagrams. You know, I don't do schoolwork, but I did schoolwork. But what I do need is a willing volunteer. There we go, perfect. Right, I'm going to shoot this on flash. Okay? I'm looking at your face and deciding which light source I'm going to use. And actually, I'm going to give you a nice punchy, contrasty, but soft light. Okay, now I have here a 7 foot by 5 foot clicky backdrop. Does anybody know where it's from? No, I work for them, not even on commission. From Click. This is Silver Texture, one of ours, and it's a new mounting system that we can mount a whole backdrop just on one stand, which is dead handy for those with portable setups. Now unfortunately my tether system isn't working today, it is being a complete pain in the backside, so I'm not going to be able to tether, but I will show you the result, or show some people in the front row straight away. So I'm going to bring this gentleman, what's your name my friend? Howard. Howard. Come up Howard. I'll move this out of the way. Now for this I'm going to use my Elecom Quadra system from the Flash Centre. And yes, I am sponsored by the Flash Centre and Elecom. So I'm going to do this. So I've got in here, it's a flash. Doesn't matter what flash it is, it's a flash. And I've got a nice big softbox on it. And I've got a backdrop. And that is all I need to start with. So, I'm going to take Howard. I'm going to teach you 3 words now. And if you've got pen and paper and you want to write it down, it's really useful. If you can't be asked, then it doesn't matter. The order is pose, light, refine. I don't set my light up till I pose my subject. Simply because I need to know which direction the nose is going in to make sure my light's right. Yeah, that's simple. So I'm going to make things nice and easy for Howard. So mate, I'm going to bring you to about here. I'm going to get you to just come forward a little bit. Turn that way a little bit. It's like that way, but the other. You're English? Oh. Don't. Okay, that's it. Nice and simple. I'll do a head and shoulders, just a simple portrait. So I'm going to bring your chin back round to me, to keep shoulders where they are. Right, the easiest way, they always say don't touch the model, but we're on time here, so I'm just going to move your head if that's alright. Didn't wait for an answer, I just did it. Right? If it's a naked female, don't do that. Okay, I'm just warning you. So I've got my light there, I'm going to have to bring it forward because I've brought Howard forward. Now, if I take the edge of this light, and I take the edge of Howard's nose here, I want 12 inches. Really? Outrageous. I thought I was the funny one. Do you know what's really funny though? Have you seen the colour of this face now? And it was you. Terrible behaviour. Don't get this kind of behaviour in England. Okay, so I take the bottom of my light source and I take it to shoulder height. Okay? Right, the reason that I want 12 inches here is because I don't want this light to come and blast onto the side of the head here. I want to use the edge of it, like this, to feather onto Howard here. Now I want it in nice and close because I want contrast. And because of what's called the inverse squirrel, I can talk for 3 hours on this, but I'm not going to. The closer the light is, the faster it falls off. Okay? So I've got it in, and I'm about 12 inches away from, no, about 18 inches this way, and I'm letting that centre of the light just feather down onto his face here. Yeah? If I put the modelling light on for a second, now just bring your chin back round to me. Keep coming, keep coming. Do you know what? I moved his head and it's still gone back. There we go. And I can see now I've got that triangle light. So next thing I need to do is measure it. So I'll take my trusty light meter. Right, in the old days, who shot that film stuff? Yeah? You used to measure for contrast, didn't you? You measure for the black point. So you would take a meter reading from here towards the camera, because you were dealing with the shadows. With digital, we deal with the highlights. So I'm going to take my closest point here, because our good friend Howard here, his hair has lost its shading. Yeah? And it will blow out really bloody easily. Yeah? So I noticed there's quite a few of his friends in the audience that are the same. Yeah? So obviously, you know, a Scottish colour. I thought red was the Scottish colour of hair, but maybe not. Okay, mate. This will blow out easily, so I want a meter for the highlight. So I take my meter, I point it towards the light, and it doesn't want to work. Should do.
Is that acid rain we got there? That's how we've all changed colour of hair.
Is that what it is? I've got this on the wrong channel. So I shall very quickly change it. Okay, that's good. Group 1, yep. Oh, should work. No, it would work if my meter was on the right channel. That would work. Right, here we go. We're good to go. He says very quickly. Okay. It works. So I'm measuring for my highlight. He's falling asleep here, isn't he? He's forward. Measuring for the highlight. Okay, I've got 5/6. 5/6 is a nice f-stop. Normally I decide my f-stop. So in this case, 5/6 is what I've decided. Okay. If my meter, like my measuring jug, if it says less than 5/6, I need more light, so I turn my light up. If it says more than 5/6, I've got too much, I turn it down. It's as simple as that. So 5/6 says yes. So I'm going to get you to stand up stout, my friend. Bring that chin back round to me. You'll naturally find that because the body is turned that way, his head will want to go that way, which is why I keep bringing him back like that. And then I take my camera. At least battery's working. 5.6. 125th. Always at ISO 100 for me in the studio. Now, are we happy? There we go, let your face know it, come on. So I get my composition, chin round, just touch more. There we go, 3, 2, 1. One shot, one kill. And there we have the 45-degree Rembrandt line. Now what I would do next, in fact I'm going to do it. Look at Chris. Chris wants a photo, he's got his best suit on and everything. I need to get a colour reference. So can I get you to hold that right next to your face, my friend? And all I do with that for now is take a photo of it. That's it, done. Thank you very much. So there's your 45-degree setup. Your easy peasy Rembrandt light. Pardon? Always manual. Always manual. I'm telling it what to do. Yeah, that's why I can't drive an automatic car. I can't do it. I'll come halfway down. Here we go. Get the step count up. One shot. I'm going faster, faster, faster. You guys don't look like you want to see it, so we'll keep going. It'd be much easier if you pretended, wouldn't it? So there's your, you can have a sit down now, mate. Get your email at the end, £75 a headshot. Or a donation to my benevolent fund. So that's a 45-degree. That is my go-to for portraiture. Right, particularly masculine portraiture. Or as we say nowadays, masculine presenting portraiture. Technically correct term. Yeah, so all I did there is I measured my light, put it simple. Look at the nose, look at the light, 90 degrees. But it's called the 45-degree light because the light that's hitting my subject is coming off this edge and making the triangle at 45 degrees. Dead easy. It's called the classic Rembrandt lighting. And it's easy peasy to do. If you know what you're doing. Any questions on that? No?
If you were doing a male portrait, would you use just one light source?
Depends. For that, I wanted to make it simple and one light. If I can tell you that about 80% of the pictures you saw on that slideshow were one light. Because there's only one sun, and so if I can make a good portrait with one light, I'll make it with one light. Next one I want to do is top light. This is my second go-to setup that I will use time and time again. And actually, Chris, would you do me a small favour? Would you go and steal the triflexion off Charlie's stand? Okay, so this is top light. So for this, my favourite weapon of choice is a strip box, because I can really control that light. Really control that light. Now what I'm doing here is a modified butterfly light. Okay? When a butterfly light means that the light is, thank you bud, is directly on the nose axis. So it's straight in front of the nose. Okay? Now normally when people do butterfly light, if you imagine my hand is the nose, they'll put the light at 45 degrees like that, straight onto the nose. Two things for me with that. It doesn't allow me to control my background, because it's going to throw light on it. And secondly, I'm putting my hotspot right into the subject. Okay, so I use a top light situation. So what happens is that light is going to go over my subject, so here's the nose, so it's going to go here, and I'm going to use this edge here to feather onto my subject and create that beautiful butterfly light, which is very, very pretty on ladies. And pretty men. Sorry mate, you can sit down for this one. But I do need another volunteer. I do need another volunteer. But there's nothing better than seeing it on the camera. Come on. Come on, trust me. Have faith in me. It was either that or Barry. I was a bit worried there. Yeah, we'll stick. So I'll just turn that one off. This, if all you get from today is how to do this, you will make beautiful portraits. I 100% guarantee you. And it is so easy to do. So I'm going to take my little trusty softbox and my very willing subject. Come forward a little bit. Just there. What's your name? Shell. Can we have a round of applause for Shell volunteering there? Because I've just realised I'm in Scotland and she's going to stab me as soon as I move away, isn't she? Okay, so again, I'm just positioning Shell 3 or 4 foot off the background. I work in a big studio, but I know that you guys don't all work in big studios, and quite often, particularly you guys that are doing it for fun, not that we don't have fun, are working in nice small spaces. So I'm trying to make everything that would fit in an average sized bedroom. Yeah? So, I've got my light. Touch too high. I'm just going to bring it down a fraction. And I'm just going to bring it forward a fraction. Because what I'm looking to do is create an equilateral triangle. But all 3 sides are the same. So, I've got this distance down, this distance out, which is going to give me that angle. Okay? It's a nice isosceles triangle, isn't it? 2 the same and 1 not. So when I do that, I'll just flip this on. I just realised this is on the other channel, so I'm just going to very quickly change it. Is anybody bored yet? Anybody wishing that they stayed in bed and just waited for Terry?
Yeah.
Did you say yeah then?
Sorry?
Oh, sorry. Tell you what I can't do, I can't read things upside down. Not very good with that. Skyport, normal, yes. Channel 1, okay, we're good. We should be good. So, I'm actually going to shoot this nice and shallow. I like a shallow portrait, because it's a bit like me. You know, so I'm going to shoot this at 2.8. You just shake your head at me then. It's alright, you're not the first. So, let's drop that light. Oh, maybe not shoot it at 2.8. Look. Okay. If I want to shoot at 2.8, I have to, do you know what? Let's just do it. Change channels on my thing. I'll put it in my powerful setting and not my not powerful setting. So I'll quickly change things over. And this might seem a faff, right? But I've made a decision I want to stick to. So I will take the extra 30 seconds to adjust my light, because that's what I want to do. And there's too many people in this game that will use that phrase, that'll do. And it won't do, because I want what I want. So, there we go. So I want 2.8. Boom. That was a good guess, wasn't it? 2.8. So, I'm just going to rotate your shoulders slightly this way. Just straighten your necklace for me. Perfect. Bring your chin back round to me. Tilt your head slightly that way, chin down. Cool. Now, I know this isn't going to be perfect first time because it needs a little bit of reflective fill. But I'm going to do it as it is, and then I'm going to add the fill. So here we go. I should actually do this for a living. You can relax for a second. Look how good you look. That's at least a £95 portrait, that one, isn't it?
She charges £300 for posing.
Very simple, one shot. Easy peasy. But I'm going to transform this into an even better shot. Right, I'm going to move quick. You guys always get me moving quicker, so 20 minutes. Yeah. Oh, is it? Not bad. I'll stick them up on the computer after and then you can have a look at them if you want. They're dead simple. Right, we're going to make it look even better in a second. Simple, beautiful. The reason I like the top light for a feminine presenting subject, to be totally politically correct. No, it's just one. It's only one on. No, it's just one.
Just the one.
Yep, simple as. Right, the reason I like that is because it carves the cheekbones. It makes it even more flattering. But I'm going to make it even more perfect now. And I'm going to pop this just there. This, if anybody wants to know, is the triflexion. Well, it's supplied by Quick Props. But this was invented by Stu Williamson, who invented the original triflector. And it just gives me that wrap around. I can safely say I have made more money in my career through this setup that I'm going to show you now than I've made in any other setting. So I just pop this up here, into there. Perfect. Yeah. Too many people, right, here's a good point. I'll give you a little tip on portraiture. Too many people, when you rotate and you bring the head back, the natural tendency is if it's a tip backwards, like that. And it looks like the head's falling off. So don't do it. So if you notice, I always correct the head slightly to the... So now we've got this together, same settings. We get that perfect composition. And there you go. Just pop some more light in. I'll pop them up on the screen later, you can have a look. All I've done is wrap that light around. So that's my second setup. And this you would technically call a clamshell. Yes it is, because this is acting as a secondary light source. So it's a clamshell. It is, and I'm right, you're wrong. So that's my second one. Thank you very much, Sean. Third one I'm going to do, yeah, well done for being brave. Third one I'm going to do is a sandwich setup. So this is going to use two lights. Okay, and this is kind of my fashion go-to setup. So who looks cool today? Oh, we're in Scotland, aren't we? Anybody want a portrait? Come on. You want a portrait? And you look cool as well, so there you go. Okay, right. I have a feminine presenting subject here who has a slightly heavier fringe coming down this side than it is on this side. So I will light you from that side because you don't light over a fringe, you light into a fringe if you're doing it properly. So you're good because my light's already on that side. So, two light setup. So the sandwich light is, as it's described, sandwiches the subject between the two lights. You'll like this light stand now. It's from Manfrotto and no, they don't sponsor me either. I had to buy this one. It's shocking. Okay, come on then, Sweet Pea. Yeah, I do all the political correct things like feminine percent and then say Sweet Pea and stuff like that. Okay, come forward a little bit more. So there's my Rembrandt, or it will be in a minute. So my standard 45-degree light, but you're a little bit taller than our Howard was. So I'm taking it a little bit higher. And then with my sandwich, so I'm going to get you to turn shoulders this way for me. Because a feminine presenting subject turns their body away from the light and brings the head into the light. Come on. Can I get you to push your hair off the shoulder? In fact, take it all round here. When I say hair, I mean mane. The shoulders that way, chin comes back to me, head straightens just a touch, too far, and chin down. Perfect. So there's my key light, my main light, my 45-degree light. So what I'll do is I'll position and measure that one first, because that's my important one. So I'll take this one, we will shoot at, let's go for F4. So I want a little detail in that hair and that fur. And there are two words that I can't say down south because nobody understands me. So I'll take this down a little bit. Take my trusty meter, so I'm going for F4 here. So that one's right, F4. I'm happy with my position, I've got my 12-inch gap. Turn that off. Now this is the other thing, meteor lights independent of each other. My second light is my strip box. And I'm going to feather this across my subject. Sorry, I don't even know your name. What?
Scotty.
Scotty. The wee Scotty here. Okay, so I'm going to use this second light to separate my subject from the background. Because we've got a lot of black here, we're a long way from the background will come out almost black. So doing this, so what I do is I aim this softbox not to here. If I aim it to here, the feather's going to come onto the side of the face here too much. So I actually aim to the far shoulder, so it skims across. Now, here's a clever thing about light. Any light from the rear that travels towards the camera appears one stop brighter than it actually is. So if I had this one's at F4, if I had this one at F4, then this would dominate because it would look brighter, and I don't want it to dominate. So I'm going to meter this one stop less. So I want this at 2.8. Okay, 2.8 on the back, 4 on the front, and I measure at the closest point. Oh, these go up. 110 pounds. So that's now at 2.8. 2.8 on the back, 4 on the front. Switch those on. Now I'm just going to get you to bring those hands delicately in front of you. Yeah, chin comes round to me, eyes straight to camera. I'm going to go for half length on this. Do you know why? Because I can. Right, don't make the mistake I was about to make then and shoot at 2.8 like you did on the last one, because that would have been vastly overexposed. Okay, F4, 1/25, 3, 2, 1. And then we have our portrait. Easy peasy. Getting a little bit of spill off that onto the background to give me a lovely separation. Again, one shot, one kill. Yeah? I'll bring that round later. So actually I'll do it now. Thank you. So that's my third setup. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Dead easy. Running down the line. So it's just giving that little highlight to the hair as well to separate nicely from the back. Yeah. What's the what? Right, if I'm lighting where I've got a subject that moves around a lot, then I'll light for an area. You'll find that because the light's feathered, I will have about 6 foot where it's within a third of a stop, all the way across. Excuse me. There you go, that's my third one. Down. Nice and simple. So all of these are made easily because of my clip box backdrop. That's what it is, and there's buy two get one free on show deals at the minute while we're here. Dead simple. Easy peasy, 3 setups, done quickly. Right, fourth one I'm going to do is I'm going to do a corporate style headshot. So I'm going to do the clamshell setup, but with continuous light I'm going to do it, and I'm going to put a light on the background. So I'm going to move my trusty flashes out of the way, all the way over here. Don't take out the chandelier. I do like life on the edge. Okay, I need one of these lights on, so I'm just going to take this off here. I'm going to finish bang on time. Right, shut that off there. Okay. So I need my last volunteer. Come on then, Liz. Oh, if it's for Facebook, it's an extra 25 quid. Okay. So this is a clamshell with a background light. So we're going to create a nice little background light. So I'm going to take my little hobo light. I do always feel when I pick these up that I want to do that. It looks like a little Hasselblad. Now, continuous light is brilliant nowadays because it's actually got to the point where it's got some pokes to it. Will be even better if I got the screw in the right hole on it. Come on, yeah. Okay, so come forward a little bit, Lynn. So this is going to be my light on the background. Yeah. And I'm going to dial that in at 5500. Now, with my background light, what I don't want is at shoulder height. Because what it's going to do there is create a halo around the head. And it looks a bit ridiculous. So I'm keeping it down there, and because it's continuous, I'm still going to use my meter, but I'm going to switch it to daylight mode, so non-flash. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure it at ISO 400. I'm going to adjust it again until I've got about 2.8 on the background, which means I'm turning it up. A little closer, this one smaller. .8. So that's going to be my background light. I've put that over there underneath the stand. So whiz this off here. Good, isn't it? Oh, like rocking horse stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to do my key light. Flick this onto there. And I'm going to use a dome. Just because it gives a beautiful soft little light. So I'll let you into a secret. I've never used it. I only took it out of the box this morning. So it can either go really well, or it's going to end badly. But I think we'll be alright. So turn it on. Put it in position. So I'm just going to use it exactly the same way that I used the strip box. But it's a nice soft light source. It's my joints in the morning. Okay. There we go. Just up a touch. And now I've made that really good photographer mistake. Putting the light all the way up there. And hope it's bright enough. Boom. I'm quite impressed with myself there. I know self-praise is no praise. I'm not going to get any from you lot, am I? So bring my clamshell back in. Hello, mate. Beautiful. And I'm going to properly wrap this.
Should have seen the state of my passport for last week.
So that's not a lot of praise, that, is it? It's got to be better than my passport photo, which was shocking. Jesus. Okay, so again, ISO 400 now, 125th, F4. Okay, just put your arms down, turn your shoulders slightly, that way, chin back to me, keep coming, drop it, there. Perfect, that's really nice. And there you go.
Oh, much better than that which I took.
So with a set of lights I've never even used before, we can still nail it in one shot. It's better than a passport. I hope so. Thanks, Lynn. So 4 setups in about 40 minutes with a lot of talking, and just to show that even when you've never used a light before, if you understand what you're doing, you'll make it work in one shot. No, it's cool, isn't it? I haven't had the touch it out of the bike. I didn't even know how to put it together this morning. Nice and simple. And the thing with continuous lights, wasn't me. Wasn't me. I like the way that everybody's responding so well to the fire alarm. Oh, it stopped. So there you have 4 easy portrait setups with flash and continuous light. Now, obviously I've chosen the lights that I'm using, but to be honest, it doesn't matter. I am a light snob because I've been lucky enough to be supplied, but at the end of the day, a light source is a light source. If you get the colour correct, you get the quantity measured correctly, you have the correct direction, and you have the correct quality for what you want to produce, you will get the results that you want. Can I say a massive thank you to our 4 volunteers. Anybody got any questions? What?
Would you feather the light if you were using the flash outside?
If I had enough power. If I had enough power. The horse that was in the slideshow, was shot with 1200 watt single flash unit, Electromeo B1200, with that strip box. Now I couldn't feather that because I was dealing with midday sun. It was giving me F16 daylight at 125th. So I had to actually overpower it by a stop and a half. So I was shooting like F28, something like that. So then I couldn't feather it. But if I've got enough power, I will always feather. Any other questions?
2 questions. What size is that shape?
That is the clicky size, which is 5 foot by 7. Comes supplied on the aluminium pole with the clicky system, which is a 30-pound bracket. 2 screws go through it and it bolts on, and it's rock solid. And it's buy 2 get 1 free.
And the other one was, it's not a light question, but the other presentation, do you free crop?
Do I what?
Do you free crop?
No, I just crop whatever suits the image. Because my wonderful laboratory, digital lab, will frame it whichever way. Go on, there's another question over this side.
Now, what was that last light called that you used?
That was the new hobo light.
Right, I was wondering if there was any flare heading towards your lens.
I will always, in or out of the studio, put a lens hood on. But I was getting, there's no flare on that at all. If anybody wants to see the images, they can just come up and have a look on the back of the camera, but there is 0 flare on that. But always use your lens hood anyway, not only for preventing flare, but it protects your lens. That's the most important thing. And I also love my Spider holster. And yes, I am a UK ambassador for Spider as well. Any other questions? Go on, mate. Yeah. Yes, of course you can. You can do it with a big softbox. You can do it with any. I just choose the strip box because it gives me that control. No, you need the triflexion. Trust me, it's way more versatile. Anything else? Butterfly setup. Angle of incidence equals angle of reflection. So if you're using that top light, the light hits the subject at 45 degrees, it will bounce off at 45 degrees. As long as you stay within what's called the family of angles, you get no reflection. So that's my go-to for that. And it doesn't have to be a little strip box, you can put the octabox up, just depends which boom you've got. Is that it? Oh, we need to do a selfie, don't we? We need to do a Damien style selfie. I can't do selfies, I'm rubbish. Okay, so are we all happy? Can we let our faces know it? Okay, oh, that's not a selfie, is it? Told you I'm good at this. Are we ready? Oh, let's go forward. Jesus, there's a lot of you lot, isn't there? 3, 2, 1. Thanks to Colin for inviting me. Thanks for Sony for giving me my camera. Ellen for obviously clicked. Thank you all for putting up with me for an hour. And I finished bang on time. Thank you guys.
Well done.